How did a kid from a small town in Siberia become the ultimate killing machine?
Who is this lunatic?
Born in a small town with no serious fighting gyms, most people would have seen the lack of gyms nearby as an unfortunate and uncontrollable situation. However, Jan focused on what was in his control and moved by himself to a city where there were gyms. Next, Jan trained out of Tiger Muay Thai in Thailand for 8 years. When access to Thailand became challenging due to COVID restrictions, he simply moved everything to Florida and trained with an entirely new team at American Top Team. Then Jan's coaches were denied visas to corner him at UFC 273. He simply took the opportunity to take control of what he could and put together a brand new corner with the coaches that were available. Jan embodies the stoic belief that we can't control what happens to us, but we can always decide how we react to it. The Stoics also believed in something called memento mori, which translates to remember you must die. While it may sound somber, it actually has a very uplifting meaning. The Stoics believe that reminding ourselves constantly of our inevitable death gives perspective on how unimportant our problems are, while helping us appreciate the gift of life.
Abdulmanap, he did a lot for MMA in his region and in Russia, and he was still pretty young. He still had a lot of years to live, but all of us have our time to come, and it's gonna happen anyway.
Jan only speaks about death briefly when he's asked about Khabib's father, but I wanted to include this as it's a huge part of Stoic philosophy. Whenever any troublesome situation arises, remind yourself that you will die and it will seem far less important. The Stoics also believed that every difficulty we faced offered us an opportunity to develop ourselves through one of the 4 cardinal virtues: courage, wisdom, temperance, and justice. Courage is the first virtue and the one on which all of the other virtues depend. Throughout Jan's career, he has exhibited courage many times, specifically in who he chooses to fight. Anybody.
Моя база бокс, и, конечно же, мне гораздо сложнее драться с борцами, с ребятами там, и у меня нету никакого опасения там драться с борцами и так далее. Мне, в принципе, без разницы.
I don't care who I should fight, you know. I enjoy fighting and just I want to fight the best.
Не каждый, в принципе, там боец из 105 захочет драться с 13 номером в рейтинге. Это рискованно, ты там рискуешь своим местом.
Any style, any fighter, any ranking, Jan embodies courage.
I won't fight.
Temperance is another word for self-discipline. Jan is extremely disciplined both in and out of the cage. Early in Jan's career, he worked as a bouncer at a nightclub and was quoted as saying, "I was not annoyed by the atmosphere of the nightclub that everyone was boozing. Somehow, I did not pay attention. There was another task at the time, to go out, win, and earn my pennies. I myself always tried to adhere to a healthy life. I did not smoke, did not drink. Such self-discipline brought me to where I am now." Such close proximity to alcohol and partying is extremely tempting for most, but Jan knew he had a mission to fight at his best and was able to practice self-discipline and restrain himself from partying. On top of that, Jan is extremely disciplined in the fight itself. Where many fighters typically feel the rush of adrenaline and exert themselves the most during the first round, Jan stays composed and downloads data during the beginning of the fight. He walks his opponents down and takes minimal risks, disciplining himself to make the fight as advantageous as possible. Justice. The Stoics believed it was our duty to always try to do what is right. Despite Jan literally trying to murder people in the cage, this behavior of doing what is right is observed early on in his life. Pyotr Jan looked after his younger siblings from the age of 12.
Мама там, например, часто работала. Также я потом там за своими младшими за кем-то старался присматривать, потому что понимал, это, во-первых, ты раньше взрослеешь, во-вторых, многим вещам ты знаешь ценности и знаешь, как что достается. Я думаю, что для меня это сыграло огромную.
Then at the age of 15, Jan moves to a bigger city to pursue fighting seriously. Despite training full-time, when he takes a job as a bouncer at a nightclub, he begins sending money home immediately. And this sense of giving back has stayed with him despite his fame and fortune. He recently bought his longtime coach a $50,000 truck as a massive thank you for his help throughout Jan's career. Wisdom for the Stoics is split up into multiple parts. First, sound judgment, and second, the lifelong pursuit of education. Sound judgment is seeing things as they are, without being clouded by emotions. Despite losing twice to Aljamain Sterling, once via disqualification in a fight he was winning, and then the second loss being a razor-thin decision, when asked whether he wanted payback, he saw revenge as unimportant and saw only the attainment of the belt as important.
Принципиально нету никакого желания там что-то закрыть и так далее. Мне кажется, его и так много было там в моей профессиональной карьере.
Next, Jan was matched up with Sugar Sean O'Malley, a flashy striker known for his flamboyant personality. Sean has gone on a social media rampage attempting to troll Jan in an attempt to get him emotional and gain an advantage before the fight starts.
It's a huge step up in competition for Peter Yan. With that being said, I just want to let you guys know that I'm still taking the fight serious. Back to you.
Мы бросили ему вызов. Потом у нас была некая переписка с ним. Я ему написал просто: прими этот бой, не болтай, и все.
Jan sees things as they are. Seeking revenge does nothing for him. Engaging in trash talk does nothing for him. Only winning fights does something for him. So that's what he focuses on. The second part of wisdom for the Stoics was the lifelong pursuit of education, to constantly learn and apply that knowledge to our life. This is most evident in Jan through the evolution of his striking. Coming into the UFC, Jan was a master of sport in boxing, and this is what he stuck to in the beginning. In his first fight in the UFC against Teruto Ishihara, Jan fights almost exclusively as a boxer. While he does have great success getting a first-round KO, his fists are essentially his only weapons. Jan improves his game with each and every fight. He does this by adding tools to his arsenal and then blending those tools masterfully. Observe how later in his career his striking arsenal expands. The tools he adds are low kicks, oblique kicks, body kicks, head kicks, knees, elbows, spinning back fists, and spinning back kicks. On top of adding those tools, he blends them and disguises strikes through feinting one and throwing another. Here you can see him feint a punch, then throw a kick. And also, he feints a kick to throw a punch. On top of that, Jan blends his tools during his combinations. Once only a master boxer, he evolves into a complete mixed martial artist. So, how did Jan become the ultimate killing machine? He mastered himself. In order to master ourselves, the Stoics believed we must focus on what is in our control. And at the root of what is in our control is our emotions. The Stoics believed controlling our emotions was possible through reminding ourselves of our inevitable death and reframing challenges as opportunities to become better people.